And joining us by the phone is New Jersey Senator Cory Booker to talk more about what's happening in the state of New Jersey and what the federal government is doing for this coronavirus. Senator, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule for joining us this morning.
No, thank you. Thank you for keeping people informed and really abreast of really important information.
So, Senator, I want to begin first with the funding, right? We're hearing a lot of information about how much individual families will get. You know, so we hear anywhere from $1,000, but you're proposing something a little different. Talk about what you're hoping to see here.
Yeah, I'm proposing a significant support for American families through this crisis, which will be 3 different tranches set up immediately, $2,000 to every child and adult in this country making under a certain amount of money. Then it would go, if the economy stays in the kind of downward spiral or hurting like it is now, it would activate in the next few months another tranche of money for $1,500 for every person. And then if it continues throughout the end of the year, at the end of the year, another $1,000 payment. This means a family of 4, if the economy is still hurting and people are still facing challenges, could get upwards of $18,000 in addition to unemployment benefits and other things we're putting together in this package. So that's what we're fighting for on the Democratic side, and we now have a bill that we're working on that was released last night by Mitch McConnell to really begin today's negotiations.
Senator Booker, financial analysts are saying it sounds great to put money in the hands of Americans, but if you think about it, $1,000, looking at how long this could last, and I know you're going to do this in phases, is really a bit of a Band-Aid. What are you thinking about doing to salvage jobs? Because people want jobs to go back to after this is all said and done.
Well, again, I think $1,000 is not enough. That's why, as I said, for a family of 4, we're talking $18,000.
Right.
And of course, jobs are critical and important. But right now, as we don't even know how long this period of sheltering in place or social isolation is going to last, it could last for a month or more. That means people need support right now. In addition, things like unemployment insurance, helping people with mortgage payments, college loan payments, all of those things are critical.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, we are talking about, number one, focus on the biggest engine of job creation in our country, which is actually small businesses. We're seeing so many of our small businesses, manufacturers, literally stopping, and we've got to have support for them. So we're talking about low interest, no interest loans, loan forbearance, and more to support our small businesses in our country. So we've got to begin to think about this not as today, as Wayne Gretzky says, don't just skate to where the puck is,
right.
Anticipate where it's going.
Right.
So we've got to put a package together that really has a vision towards the next 3 months, both job creation, businesses, saving our businesses, but immediately the anxiety amongst American families right now is, how do I pay my rent?
Exactly.
How do I buy food for my family? And we've got to get money into the pockets of those families.
And your plan would actually need to get full bipartisan support. But I also want to talk about where this country is going right now. Besides the financial aspect of it, we're seeing states like California go into a full shutdown mode right now. There's a lot of conversation about what we should be doing in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. The governors all team up right there. What is your position on how this area, the state of New Jersey that you represent, and as a country should do? Should we go to a full shut the door right now and keep everybody inside to prevent this from getting worse?
So just to be clear, the crisis that is facing every governor in our state is that if this wave or curve, as people are calling it, doesn't crest, doesn't begin to go down, it will overwhelm health systems in America.
Right.
That is why getting people to stay home is so critical. And remember, for those people who think, oh, the coronavirus might not affect me directly, if you were climbing on your top shelf and you fall, hit your head, and you need an ambulance and show up at a hospital that is overwhelmed, it will compromise your care as well. We are all in this together. And so every governor that is urging people to stay home is doing it to save lives.
So do you think we should? Do you think New Jersey should?
Warnings is putting themselves and others at risk. This is a national crisis, and we all need to be taking the measures necessary to bend that curve immediately, as quickly as possible.
Right, but Senator, are you urging your governor, Phil Murphy, to put a shelter-in-place edict in effect?
I talked to my governor and his team every single day, multiple times. We are doing everything we can to support, not just him, by the way, because I've got mayors from Atlantic City to Newark that we're talking to as well. And I know that they're governing on a lot of different issues and making these decisions thoughtfully and carefully. So I support my governor 100%. Right now, he has not taken that action.
Right.
But should he deem it necessary, we need to move in that direction.
So I want to ask you specifically about yourself. How are you doing? A couple members of Congress that we've been reporting this morning have tested positive for the coronavirus. Does that concern you, and have you yourself felt the need to get tested?
Look, I'm concerned about the police officers in our towns. I'm concerned about the medical professionals. I'm concerned about those people that are delivering food to others in need. So I'm doing everything I can to protect myself. Please don't worry about us. We have Senate doctor here. We're taking precautions. I'm doing everything, obviously, to stay in the saddle so I can do the necessary things to serve my state and this nation. But there are a lot of people out there who are at risk. We just need to continue to pray for each other and support each other, especially those of us who have means. Please help your local food banks. Help those people that are really trying to support America through this crisis.
Are you putting pressure right now on the federal government, right, on the president himself? We've heard the governors have come out and said that they don't feel that the federal government's doing enough, and the federal government comes back and says, well, it's up to the governors, right? So what is your message right now for President Trump and the administration and their handling of this? What's your assessment?
There's a bipartisan chorus of just frustration with the way this president has handled this crisis, failure to be proactive, undermining our preparedness in the years leading up to it. And now we have a real crisis, especially in the tri-state area, where we see such a lion's share of the nation's cases presenting themselves. We have to have more dramatic federal action, activating federal agencies like the military and other emergency preparedness operations to get the resources to the hospital so we do not get overwhelmed. This is a time not to pass the buck. It's a time to stand in the saddle. Buck stops with you to get the resources necessary. Even activating companies, calling up CEOs, talking directly to them. I've been an executive in Newark during a crisis like this. You get on the phone, you talk to folks, even if it's not an official edict, you begin to marshal the resources necessary to meet the crisis. We need more of that kind of leadership now.
But Senator, what about the medical supply reserves that supposedly the federal government has? Are they being put out there in the public so that the medical staff can have access to them?
That process is begun, but it is not happening to the degree that it needs to. Again, we have stockpiles, we have reserves. This is the crisis that we have those reserves for. They need to be pushed out into communities, especially in hard-hit areas like we're seeing in the tri-state area.
Senator Cory Booker, I have covered you since you were mayor of Newark, New Jersey. You have a very hands-on approach to a lot of things. You used to shovel people out, and I was there with my little camera filming you. We thank you for taking the time this morning, again, with your hands-on approach here in this bigger crisis.
I want to be grateful to you all for this is the time all the bashing the media has been taking over recent years. This is a time where you are critical, in many ways, a first responder, getting people the information they need. Thank you for your voices and your calm and informative style and, frankly, just commitment right now.
Really do appreciate that.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate that, and best to you as well.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
9:43.